Welcome to the IAS Young Investigators panel, and we are pleased to have with us 5 very bright people who have done their peer review process already on the firing line yesterday, and we appreciate them to take the time today to come forward and chat with us about what their work is and who they are and what got them into the field. So we'll start with that. We'll have each person introduce themselves and explain what got them into the field, as well as a little background.
Okay, my name is Tafadzwa Dhokotera. I am currently studying my master's in epidemiology and biostatistics with the University of Witwatersrand, and through the program I got a fellowship with the National Cancer Registry of South Africa, funded by the US Civilian Research Development Fund. And with the Cancer Registry, I'm looking at the epidemiology of cancer in HIV patients. So as you know, in sub-Saharan Africa, the prevalence of HIV is high, but with the introduction of ART, the lifespan has also increased, and the conditions that are associated with age become more common in people living with HIV. So it is in that context that I got interested in looking at cancer in people living with HIV, as they are more likely going to be at increased risk. So for public health impact, for the better care of people living with HIV, it is essential to look at also all those comorbidities associated with it.
Thank you very much. Olivia?
Hi everyone, my name is Olivia Nevola and I'm an undergraduate student at Lehigh University, pursuing a double major in political science and economics and a minor in health medicine and society. I got involved in the field almost on accident. I had answered an ad in a newspaper to work with a professor, and that's how I met Dr. Lechuga, who invited me to work on her project studying the effect of drug use and police persecution at the Mexican-American border between El Paso, Texas and Juarez, Mexico. And with that, we've looked at the HIV rates and how the policies at the border are affecting the HIV rates in that area.
Very poignant subject today.
Definitely.
And Will?
My name is Will Goedel. I'm a second-year PhD student at Brown University School of Public Health studying epidemiology. I got into the field more so as a way of addressing the needs of my community as a young gay man going into healthcare facilities and them not being able to address my needs. I started college in 2013. PrEP was first rolling out. My friends and I were talking about it, but our healthcare providers didn't know what they were supposed to be doing and what PrEP implementation should look like for young gay men in the United States. And so now a lot of my work focuses on PrEP implementation in sort of real-world clinical settings that's relevant for young gay bisexual men and young trans women across the United States. And so that's what I do now.
Great, thank you. Elizabeth?
Hi, thank you. My name is Elizabeth Wetzel. I work for Baylor College of Medicine Children's Foundation, Malawi. I got my bachelor's degree in biology, and I was doing a bit more laboratory research. And then I went on and got my master's of public health and epidemiology from the University of Michigan, and that really is what got me into public health. And from there I went to, then I got into the field of HIV through Global Health Corps, which is a year-long fellowship placed in a variety of countries. And I was in Malawi and working on a USG-funded project through Dignitas International, and then I went into monitoring evaluation from there and just loved HIV programming, working in sub-Saharan Africa, and so now I'm with Baylor in Lilongwe, working, the poster was on linkage to care in adolescents and also HIV case identification strategies, so it's where my passion lies now. Thank you.
And Tapiwa?
Hi, my name is Tapiwa. Thank you very much. I come from Lilongwe, Malawi, and I also work with Baylor College of Medicine in Lilongwe. And I have a master's in clinical research, which I obtained from the University of Ghana in collaboration with the London School in the United Kingdom. I got involved in this work when I was interning for a project called UNC Project, and it's also called Tidziwe. So most of their work is on HIV prevention and therapeutic studies. So after interning for them, I went back to college as an undergrad. Then after graduating, I got a job with UNC, and I continued working with them until I had my master's degree. But now currently I'm working with Baylor, and most of my work is on index case testing, and I'm also part of the research department, and we're doing some randomized clinical studies on prevention in women.
One of the things that it seems it's pretty prevalent is each person probably on the stage and all the researchers out there are interested in having somebody to be their guidepost. And do you all have mentors? Okay, you do? And I think we want to probably talk just a little bit about that, how helpful that is, and what you might not be able to do without it. I mean, it seems like it'd be a difficult thing to live without. So let's go through the list here and see how you feel about that.
Well, I'm in the early phases, obviously, of my research career, and mentorship has been very important because they have gone through the process. They have great advice to give, expertise in the research field, in the particular fields that we are looking at, and as well as just interactions with other research groups, how to network, so they groom you wholesomely, and that has been has had a very high impact in these early stages of my research career. I'm really grateful to my mentor, Dr. Mashita Sengai from the National Cancer Registry, and some experts that I have had access to during this, like Dr. Julia Bowles from ISPM, University of Penn. They have been really great in mentoring.
So some of the mentors would be consistent with you, others might be ad hoc?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And Olivia?
My mentor is Dr. Lachuga and my other mentor, Sarah. They both taught me so much. As I said, when I came into the field, I had little to no research experience, and I had no idea how to do any sort of coding at all. And they've taught me so much, and I've learned so much, and I'm looking forward to applying what I've learned to my future.
Mm-hmm. And Will?
So my first mentor in the field is Dr. Dustin Duncan at NYU, who really sort of said, okay, undergrads don't normally get to do these things, but let me take you on, because I sort of sent him a cold email. He's a professor at the medical school, and I was just like, your work's interesting. How can I help? I don't have any skills, but let me help. And he sort of gave me all of my sort of introductory experiences with study design and paper writing, and sort of helped me navigate moving through undergrad, not really knowing that I was interested in the sciences and not knowing what I wanted to do with that. And so now I'm in a PhD program at Brown. My mentor is Dr. Brandon Marshall, who sort of similarly, he's a young investigator himself, and so he's been helpful in helping me sort of navigate the early stages of my career and sort of how to be taken seriously as a 23-year-old PhD student. So mentors have been so crucial for every stage of my career thus far, and they're going to continue to be.
That's one of the things that we've noticed over the years doing this, as I have, is that some of the mentors were, in the old days, were older, much older. They were like retiring. They felt, but it seems like, and we had this conversation, that a lot of the mentors should be close to your age because they more recently went through the same stuff you're dealing with, the same unknown circumstances. So that's interesting that you would have a young investigator as a mentor. Thank you. Olivia.
Yeah, thanks. I'm glad you asked this question. I think it's, as Will just said, it's been really key in my growth throughout my young experience. So I've had the privilege of having really strong female mentors throughout my career, and I started in biology with Dr. Carissa Crane, and she really taught me how to write an abstract and all the very basic things, and I grew a lot. And then I moved to grad school, and I had Laura Rozek, who was leading at Michigan Cancer Research, and now I work with Dr. Maria Kim. Dr. Maria is leading she founded the Baylor, her and her husband founded the Baylor Tengate program, which is the outreach program. She also, just in terms of a mentor, she really cares about my career and my growth a lot, and helps me, and is always checking in on what I want to do next. And so that's been really important for me in my career.
And Tapiwa?
Thank you very much. For me, I have two mentors. One of them is Professor Francis Martinson, who I worked with under the UNC project. Having a mentor is very important. He's the one that helped me understand different research designs and also helped me understand the ethical principles behind conducting research. And now I'm working closely with Dr. Maria Kim, and she's great. And like Elizabeth says, she's there. She helps understand what your goals are, what you want to do, and then try to incorporate that in the work that you're doing and the assignments that she gives you. So it's very important to have a mentor. Yeah.
I think the next thing we should probably do is kind of get a sense of the challenges and the opportunities or successes. You can take it how you will, but I think it's important for us to know, or for those in our audience who may be thinking about a career in HIV, that it's not easy, but you're showing how with the mentorship it seems to be a little more comfortable, a little more friendly. But if you will, just go down the line and talk about the problems you've had, maybe a problem or two, and then some of the opportunities you had or successes.
Okay. I have had great mentorship, as you said, and that has enabled me to navigate all the problems that I have had. Basically, it has been trying to really understand the subject matter and trying to integrate myself into the research community, trying to forge a path for myself. How do I go from point A to point B? And mentorship has been a great part of that. And also, being up for new challenges and being a risk taker. Don't be scared to face a new challenge. Like with the fellowship, it was very competitive, but I was just like, let me try it. If you don't try, you never know what would have happened if you didn't try. And in the end, it turned out to be just fine.
Olivia?
So as I mentioned, I had no experience coming into this at all, and so that was a challenge for me. It was a huge learning curve. I work with doctorate students who know so much more than me, and they're always willing to help me, which is so nice of them. And that's definitely been the greatest challenge, is learning how to keep up and how to continue without getting frustrated at myself for not knowing as much, because I haven't had the experiences that they've had.
Coming up against a brick wall in science is a regular thing. You have to be able to take that rejection, so to speak, even if it's the science that's rejecting. And well?
Right, I would say, in addition to kind of just like rejection being a large part of your kind of day-to-day life in any academic or sort of research field, it's knowing that like funding isn't always going to be consistent to do the work that you want to do and the work that you think is important, and sort of persisting through and pushing through to that next grant cycle to sort of keep yourself moving, and sort of understanding that like not everything's going to get funded when you want it, but you can continue to push through, and something will work out eventually. But you know, it's having hope on the days where the grant funding isn't coming in, to know that the work you're doing is important, and knowing that it needs to keep moving.
Sometimes rewriting a grant proposal, and finally it gets really good, and then you think, they're never going to refuse this one.
Yeah.
There you go. Elizabeth?
Yeah, I think one challenge and then opportunity with it is just there's such a diversity in this field. So you can work in, prevention, more like biomedical research, or like implementation science. So for me, it was like, where do I fit in? What do I want to do? And then figuring out how to go from there. Mentorship was key in that, and also, just kind of like persisting and trying out other things and trying out what works best for you. And I think the field of HIV is so exciting because we have so many opportunities to make a real impact.
Mm-hmm. And Tafadzwa?
I think one challenge for me was try to find mentorship in the space of whereby what I want to do is in line also with what they have or what tasks are available. So definitely it was a challenge to find somebody who is able to sort of like understand you, and also try to understand the path that you want to go into, not just lead you in a certain path just because you find yourself at that place. So it's that I think would be a challenge also to most people, because you find yourself in one area, maybe HIV prevention, but your interest is more into public health. So it's difficult to sort of like navigate when you're finding yourself in that situation. But yeah, with the right kind of mentorship, you're able to sort of like be directed in the right path, and also being given tasks that you sort of like comfortable doing and enjoy because it's something that you're passionate about.
Okay. I'm going to ask one last question, and it's going to be kind of take it how you will, kind of like a future directions, and that could be that you're changing your field, or you think, no, I'm going to stick with this because I really love it. And of course, all of it's based upon how you feel now. But I think it'd be nice to see whether what you initially, and if this is your initial choice, what you're in now. Maybe you made other choices and you've now gravitated to what you're doing now. So it's kind of like where you were, where you are, where you're going.
Okay, my background is in medical laboratory sciences, but when I was in my final year, I became more research oriented. And then this was the first opportunity that came up, and I don't regret choosing this direction, and I feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be. I will just keep on trying to become more skilled and to present information that has got public health impact.
As pursuing a bachelor's in political science and coming here, my eyes have really been open to the discrimination and the criminalization of HIV, and I feel that in the future I will definitely want to learn more and pursue a career sort of putting an end to that, hopefully, or having a part in putting an end to that. And this conference the sessions I've been attending have really opened my eyes and educated me on what's going on that I never really knew was actually happening.
Well,
So when I started my undergrad, I was on a track in sort of a pre-health, pre-medicine, sort of pre-medical doctor sort of space, because when you're in high school and you like the sciences, that's what they tell you is your like only option. They don't tell you like, oh, there's PhDs and all of these other things. And so now I sort of tripped and fell into public health research and really, really enjoy epidemiology and sort of looking at things from a systems and kind of population perspective. And so I have 3 more years left on my doctorate, and after that I'm looking to sort of stay in academia and sort of stay in a mentoring role to sort of bring new people into the field and increase diversity in the field, at least in the United States, and sort of do our small parts in academia with our community partners to bring about all of the goals that we want by 2030, whether it be 90-90-90, no new infections, insert framework here.
lots of work to do.
Yeah, lots of work to be done. Yeah.
Okay, Elizabeth?
Yeah, so like I mentioned before, I got started in more like in a lab kind of scientific research, and now I've moved more to programs work, and I think that's where I see myself staying. I see the importance of evidence-based research and evidence-based programming, and that's why I found myself in monitoring and evaluation, and I really enjoy it, and working in operational research, finding what works in the community that you're working in, and how you can best replicate that and grow it elsewhere in other regions and different communities.
Tafadzwa?
Yeah, as for me, I like what I'm doing. I'm so passionate about research, working with new interventions, trying them out and see if it works, and if it doesn't work, finding the results, disseminating the results, writing proposals. So I feel like I'm on the right path. I wouldn't change this, and I do a little bit of program work. So yeah, it's all good.
The one thing I have to tell you is that trial by fire is on the what you experienced the other day. And I don't know if has anyone been here at another conference earlier? You have? Okay, because sometimes when it's your first conference, it's kind of daunting. You say, heck, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. Take the hard questions from people about challenging the work you did. Yeah. But you stood there, you took it at least for the hour and a half or whatever it was. But it is important to do. That's peer review process. That's what it is, trial by fire.
Yeah.
So you gotta have enough knowledge about your work that you can stand there and support it, and be willing to accept oh, maybe I should have thought of that. You know,
Yes.
somebody voices something up. But we really do appreciate you all taking the time to visit with us here about your background and what you're doing in your field. And we certainly wish you all the good luck that I can muster up to throw your way.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Thank you so much.